Welcome to the Heat Beat Podcast. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we have a full cast of panelists to talk about how Joe Cronin is a generational hater. We have that assistant professor Photoshopper, Christian Hernandez.
I'm sick and I should be resting, but I literally need to vent. So
we're here. We have a platform. We have the 2K coach, Franky G.
Joe Cronin's going to be a 2K GM when I'm through with him.
Bro, these GMs are acting like fantasy GMs. We'll get into that in a second. And we have the host of the defunct Hangover Time post-game show.
No question.
Alphonse Sidney. No question.
Christian, are you ever going to move into that room? Like, ever just going to finish?
Nope.
It's under construction.
Never.
I like it.
It's like the Palmetto. It's just never going to finish.
This is just the bullshit room. The rest of the house is looking great, but this room, maybe next year.
Yeah, we'll always be an upside down chair with a basketball in it.
Yeah, well, that's now my basketball holder until we get rid of the chair.
We have chat excited that Alf is back. They said Alf, Kendall says Alf looking clean with the cut. Other people said that they didn't recognize Alf, probably because he's probably sleeping better. His kid's older.
My eyes aren't yellow like Michael Jordan.
Fresh cut, all that. Chat's also mad. Chat's asking if we're cooked.
Good.
People on Twitter are angry, and let's get into that. So we're on day 90-something. There's that one account on Twitter that keeps updating what day it is since the Damian.
Yeah, what is it? Miami Clutch?
Miami.
Dude.
Yeah.
Miami Clutch PE.
Miami Clutch PE. Keeps updating us. We are on. I'll get it right. 86, day 86 of Lillard watch.
That beard of Mr. Krabs is looking real gnarly.
It's day 86, and 5 Reason has somehow done 92 podcasts on Dame. So, shout out to Heathen, finding every angle imaginable. But guys, we're sitting here, and I feel like we did not have information for a good month. And the last week, rumors have come out, league people are talking, and we have all sorts of rumors from Buddy Hield to Joe Cronin may or may not be willing to take a dog shit offer because he's a generational hater. And, G, why don't you give the people that report that you're talking about? Start off with a saucy nugget real quick, a la Leif. Shout out to Greg Sylvander. What I know is the Raptors offered at some point Gary Trent Jr., Precious Achiuwa, Grady Dick, and protected first-round picks. Protected.
Wait, no OG?
No Anunoby.
How does that even work for salary? Like, what are we doing?
Now, I don't know how that was haggled or not. But the things I'm comfortable saying is the Raptors at one point last week were very close to a deal, and that is something that was told to me. And then what was reported today on one of those Blazer pods, and I'll get the name of it right now because shout out to Drew Starr, who's always out here. He's always aggregating. This Danny and Dusty. They said Scotty Barnes is not a factor in this.
Oh, Dusty.
I've heard the Raptors I've heard that the Raptors, that Masai is unwilling to engage in that, and that the touch point's going to be Anunoby and whether or not he's included in the deal. That, to me, is crazy. That Masai is like, I'm not giving Scotty and maybe OG. Which is just like, Christian, they are lowballing Joe Cronin. Joe Cronin's having a rough month, man. Nobody respects that man.
I mean, Gianni, if you even remotely believe that Dame could just walk in that first day and ask for another trade, why would you give up anything of substance?
Now, we don't know if the Raptors came back and are like, okay, we'll give you OG. I think it's pretty clear that if Barnes was available, we would not be having these conversations. Lillard would be in a Raptors jersey.
And I would get it.
And I would get it
100%.
Yeah, no,
and Alf,
that makes sense.
You said, fuck it. If that's how it goes, you can't get mad if you're a Heat fan.
No, I'm not mad at Portland, and I'm not mad at the Raptors because that's hilarious, okay? That is a fucking hilarious scenario for the Raptors to miss out on Kevin Durant, right? Because they wouldn't give up Scotty Barnes, and to now get an aging Damian Lillard by giving up Scotty Barnes and still being like maybe fourth best team in the East. Maybe. Like you are not shaking nothing with a big three of OG, Dame, and Pascal. Like nobody's afraid of that. I'm sorry if it's slanderous. Like honestly, I think the Raptors get
Jakob
better.
Poeltl doesn't do it for you?
No. Listen, and then you're talking about what else they would have to give up, right? You're talking about you're mortgaging the future. You're giving up your best young asset, and you're not even a contender. Like that's the part that's so hilarious to me. People talking about the Heat mortgaging the future for Dame Lillard. They're mortgaging the future for a championship window right now. Like the Heat are on the precipice. They were in the finals last year. Toronto sucked last year, so you're going to give up Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, all your supporting cast that wasn't very good in the first place for Damian Lillard in the city that no free agents want to come to anyway. It's not like, oh, now that they had Dame, let me shoot my ass up onto Toronto. It's not happening. So everything you built, you're about to just get rid of it all for Damian Lillard. Now, let's say they are able to do it without OG and Scotty. Amazing job by Toronto. Then I'm over here belly laughing at Portland. Either way, I fucking win. Either way, I'm laughing at one of these fucking two teams, and I may have a chance to laugh at both.
Bro, if they take a deal without Anunoby, Danny and Danny and very white names. Danny and Dusty's funny.
Danny Merengue.
If they take an Anunoby-less deal, Frankie, there's no way that offers better than what the Heat have. That's just Cronin being a hater. Because Tyler and Picks is better than that. I don't care how much you like Grady Dick.
No, and the proposed multi-team deal with Indiana and Phoenix that would get them Ayton and another pick from Indiana is better than that too. Like I don't understand what like without OG, who they would then have to extend and potentially risk losing if he wants to go somewhere else and doesn't want to be on a rebuilding team. Like I don't understand what makes this deal even close to enough. That's why I think it's smoke, because Cronin. He's got the mass of NBA fans and media supporting him that he needs to do right by Portland. He needs to get the best package available, which is fine. You know, he's got to do his job. But if you take a worse package out of spite, like you're not doing your job. There's no excuse. It's all smoke. That part is all smoke for me, for sure.
So, Frankie, the only thing that could possibly make that make sense, and it's what I'm inclined to think, especially if what Gianni is saying is true. Let's just entertain for a second the idea that the Blazers really would take less than what the Heat are willing to offer to trade him something else. At that point, I don't even believe that Cronin's the decision maker. That sounds like some ownership level, just spite and fucking like being 100% butthurt because Dame's holding you over the fires. And from like an ownership perspective, especially with some of the things I've heard about the existing ownership group right now, not the wildest thing. Cronin, though, I don't know about that.
Cronin has won the public support battle. Everyone is going to bat for Joe. Even I'm gonna out a personal friend of ours, Alf. Rohan in private is defending Joe Cronin.
Listen, the people vote for Trump. I don't care about public support. I don't care about public opinion. Like it's like at this point, like listen, I understand like you try to get the best deal possible. But if what you're doing, like Christian says, if what you're doing is you're being so petty that you will take a worse deal to spite the greatest player in franchise history, to spite another franchise that I feel like Portland and Miami have worked well together in the past. And all of a sudden, like it's this, they're just animus because he chose Miami and he wants to go to Miami, and maybe he felt disrespected by Miami's original offer. Then negotiate, motherfucker. It's your job. Like I don't understand.
Do you buy?
So I get what Christian's saying. If it does smell like somebody else is pulling the strings, and like we've all been in a position, right, where our boss wants something really stupid, and we have to go out there and we have to pretend it's our idea because we need our check to clear, right? Like I understand. I've been in Cronin's position before. So either way, it's either bad ownership or it's bad management by Cronin. But like, I mean, to this point, right? Like, I think what we do is like everyone just makes these assumptions of what's happening because we don't know what's happening. So there's assumptions being made, and there's a lot of smoke coming from reporters everywhere that Cronin is not willing to talk to Miami, right? So it makes you think, yeah, this guy's just not doing his job. But if he's searching for a better deal, he is doing his job, right? But it's to that point. If they do take a worse deal, if they do take a deal without Scotty Barnes involved, right? If they're hoping on Tyler Hero Light, Grady Dick to somehow be better than Tyler Hero, like that's the funniest thing in the world to me. Like, oh, we want Grady Dick because one day he could be as good as Tyler Hero. That's hilarious. Like, so if that's what you're doing, then yeah, somebody in Portland is fucking up.
Do you guys buy that the two teams are not communicating? Because not only are Portland people saying that, but Barry Jackson saying that. And that to me is crazy because some things don't add up. Because Portland people are saying that Miami's not putting their best offer. But they're also saying Portland knows what they have and they don't want that. So which is it?
I mean, that's more of a negotiating stance than
you know anything. What I mean? It's just like, well, then fucking negotiate. Pick up the phone.
Everybody's talking about both sides of their neck over this whole thing.
It's
like
crazy.
This whole time. It's been such an annoying process. Like it's been really fucking annoying. Like bottom line is the Heat need to go get Dame Lillard. Like I don't want to hear it. Like I did the cope that I've been seeing on the timeline.
A lot of cope.
It's fascinating to me.
A lot.
Like, I never really wanted Dame in the first place. Stop. Yes, you did. Okay. Oh, I really would rather see the young kids play. Okay, come on. Yeah, we're all
I really
excited.
wouldn't hate seeing the young kids play, but I want Dame.
We want Dame. Okay, it is a consolation prize of seeing Jaquez and Jovic come into their own. Like, yay! We're not winning no championship with the team that's currently constructed. Like, for them to say they still feel good about winning the East, like, listen, we've won the East twice. We've been really close another time. I'm kind of sick of just winning the East. Like, I know that makes me sound like a spoiled fan, but at some point in Jimmy's window, you have to go big or go home. This piddly pussyfooting around the fence. Oh, I don't want to give up Jovic. I don't want to give up Hawkins. Honestly, if anybody under the age of 22, and that includes future middle schoolers in these fucking draft picks, if anybody under the age of 22 is holding up this deal and you miss out on Damian Lillard because you did not want to give up some fucking rookie or some a 12-year-old out there hooping, like that is going to bother me. If it's just that Portland's too petty to even have a conversation, I can live with that. But if it boils down to the fact that the Heat did not put their best foot forward because they feel good about what they have, like that will piss me off. And I'm sorry, like that to me that's unacceptable. I'm a root for the team next year anyway, but to me that is an unacceptable position to have.
And that 100% out, because we've heard for years every time they've missed out on one of these guys, Mitchell, KD, Harden, whoever they've gone after. The excuse has always been, we need somebody to say only Miami, only Miami. You've got this scenario exactly in. If you're not, if you don't get Damian Lillard because you didn't go all in, the fan base isn't going to support that. You know, they're going to still support the team. They're going to still root for the team and may the chips lie where they may, but that this will be an absolute failure if they miss out on Damian Lillard.
What I don't get is because I understand, because I think this has been way too public. I mean, obviously, Hawkes isn't stupid and Tyler's not stupid. And we've seen what Trilly, who has talked to both of them, have said, right? They know the deal. You know what I mean? They know. So if you're sometimes an organization, you might say, we're happy with our team. We didn't engage too much. They say that just to not hurt guys' feelings that are in the, but this is different. These dudes are they know. You know what I mean? They know that they're on the block. Kyle's out with fucking the head coach of the Blazers at a college basketball game.
I mean, it'll come out eventually, right? What the offer? Okay, let's say the Heat it doesn't happen. He goes to the Raptors for some dog shit offer, or even for a good offer, right? Eventually, what the Heat's offer will come out, or the fact that they never put their best foot forward, they never made their best offer. Because if this whole idea that they're posturing and they're like, we're not desperate for Dame. Honestly, bro, I've been like that. And then at the end of the night, I leave with something nasty from the club, right? Stop the posturing. We all know you want to get down. Everybody wants to do the deed. If it needs to be Jovic or it needs to be Hawkes and it needs to be Hero and it needs to be every pick you could find. If you need to flip Hero to a third team, what I'm annoyed with is that what we're hearing, and listen, no one knows exactly what's going on. But if what's being said is true, that Miami is not being aggressive, if Miami is just taking their foot off the gas and they're waiting for Portland to come back with a better offer, that does annoy me, right? But it's also a good negotiating tactic unless it falls through. So, like I said, I mean, we wait to see what happens, but I just hope in my heart that we're not holding up this deal for a 20-year-old 7-footer who just graduated from high school.
I mean, I got to be honest, knowing Riley, there's just no way that any of these role guys hold up a deal. Not even Caleb, right? Not even Caleb, I think, holds this up. So that's kind of, I think when it comes down to it, I just don't see a world where, they just don't. It's not like what they have is a secret, right? They have Tyler. They have these young guys. They have, I believe, 2 picks, and they could probably get a third by moving Tyler to another team. I thought what Crab in the chat said is interesting. He's like, I think it'd be different if Miami's best offer wasn't contingent on getting other teams involved. How can you get other teams involved if you're not getting a fucking phone call back? So, you're not negotiating in good faith. You don't want a better deal. You know what I mean? You got to communicate. If you want something, you got to let people know, hey, I'd like Ayton. Hey, I'd like this. Can we talk to somebody else and make this happen? If you're Riley, and that's my thing with the whole situation, it's you waited. Right? You waited for this, as Al said, this exact moment where not just the whale asked for out, a franchise icon that normally those guys get respected and they get what they want. And I don't think the Heat were ready for the bubble to burst with them. And it did. The bubble burst and it was with them. And now they have egg on their face and they're like, how the fuck was I supposed to plan for that? Right? We did what we always do. And it didn't work, but Alf's right. If they don't, it's a disaster. Because now they go in without any of the guys from last season. They bring in Josh Richardson that we have to pretend is going to be as good as Gabe Vincent. And, I love Josh, but, kind of is what it is. And they're kind of in this situation where, what can they say, right? They just, we love our team. But nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Frankie, you don't want to hear it.
I think another year of relying on Herculean efforts from Jimmy, Bam, and Spo,
and a random shooter.
Yeah, and here's the thing that I find that we had guys step up all last year. Here's the difference between a role player and a superstar. Dame does it every single night. One night maybe Gabe will give you something. One night maybe Caleb will give you something. One night Strus will give you something. One night Duncan will give you something. Those are role players. That's what they do. What the Heat need is somebody, a feared scorer, next to Jimmy, because you can't ask Jimmy to do this night after night because we see what happens every year. He runs out of gas eventually. You're just not an overwhelming force with the guys they have on the floor right now. The last time this team felt any kind of overwhelming was in 2020 with Goran Dragic playing out of his mind, right?
After
and
rest.
With 6 months off in the middle of the season. People ask for Goran back right now. You're not getting that dude back, right? But what looks like Goran Dragic in the bubble? Dame Lillard,
except better.
Except yeah. I mean, a guy who can get a 3-level scorer, and okay, his defense isn't great. Who gives a shit, right? Like the Heat have enough defenders; they'll figure that shit out. But what Franky says, you don't get Dame, it is a disaster. Game's gone, Max is gone. Okay, I understand they weren't they had their moments and they had a pretty shitty regular season, but that's depth, right?
Yeah.
You don't have them anymore. You're hoping for Josh Richardson to have some kind of resurgence. Thomas Bryant, we all know what Thomas Bryant is. Yes, he's better than Cody Zeller, but he is not the tipping point, right? You've done nothing to make yourself significantly better than last year. And remember, and I know, we fight against as Heat fans, we were minutes away from losing the second play-in game. For people to think that this team didn't need a serious upgrade, a serious injection of top-level talent, they're out of their minds. Last year was fun, right? But I'm tired of being the plucky can-do guys.
Well, last postseason was fun because the regular season
clarification
was not fun. As Alf knows, having to do hangover times after some fucking brutal games.
Can we just outscore the shit out of somebody for every once in a while?
The Dolphins are doing it, and you know the curse in this market.
No, we can only have one.
We can only have
it's
one.
Like Highlander.
Aren't the Hurricanes good too? Aren't the Canes? The Canes are ranked. They're 19, right?
I mean, we had the Panthers in the finals at the same time as that. The Canes men and women's basketball.
That's true.
Really
that's true.
I think that's retired. The Marlins are about to make the playoffs.
Oh, let's go.
But I'm just laughing at Alf's club comparison. you go home, you're trying to play too cool for Dame. You end up going home with Bouye and Drew.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going to cut it.
Now you're in bed with Jamal Cain with a hangover. How do you feel?
Is Bouye the stripper on US 1? So, and some people will say, well, Miami could have, like Siobhan in our chat was like, well, you could have gone after Beal, bird in hand, all that. And I think that's fair to have asked for the organization, but I also don't blame the organization for bro, it's Damian fucking Lillard. You know what I mean?
But you hear what you just said, right? This is what it will always come down to me. Yes, you could have had Beal, but once Damian, so it's a club comparison again. You had a baddie, but then you had an 8, right? And then a 10 walked by, and then you ditched the 8 to go for the 10. But and then you try to play too cool for the 10, and now you end up with Jamal Cain again. There's a lot of sleeping with Jamal Cain in this podcast. And I'm annoyed with it.
What's Jamal Cain do? Poor guy. I think that's fair, criticism, being you should have, Beal was there. He could have been had for less.
He had a no trade clause. You could have offered the world that if he wanted to go to the Suns, he was going to the Suns.
No, I get that, Christian. I get that. But if you weren't going to pursue him because Dame came along, you better go all in for Dame. You better really go after him.
Let me know when you guys are done assuming that the Heat aren't actually offering everything for Dame, because it's a ridiculous premise.
I think they are. I cannot believe that they're just. I don't even know what a low ball is. They don't have that much to give. Are they haggling on one of the young guys, not both? I don't really know what the haggling angle is.
I just don't see Cronin taking less, and calling it a win.
So Alex,
it makes sense.
We have Troppy Baby in chat saying it doesn't sound like they've offered everything yet. I don't know what that means.
Why should they? It's honestly, it's very simple what's going on, and it honestly jives with every report we've seen, more or less. And it's that the Heat made an offer back in July, and the Blazers were like, okay, we'll go find something better. And here we are today, and they still don't have anything better, and that's why they won't reach out to them. Why in the world would you go back to have a phone call with Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg if you know the deal they already offered you is better? They're just going to be like, oh, our deal's better. Take it or leave it. There, at some point, you have to realize, that is what all the media tactics, that's everything that's going on right now. It's just them fishing for a team, hoping maybe there's a real window that they could get a bargain. And all they're going to do is they're going to turn around and take that bargain and get 1 or 2 more assets out of Miami. Because why in the world would you offer more than you need to for anything? Are you going to walk into 7-Eleven and pay $10 for a Twinkie? No.
Wait.
I mean, Alf. Okay.
How good is a Twinkie?
That's neither here nor there. But like,
that Twinkie's expired.
It's a simple thing. I mean, we have. It's going to happen. When does camp start, or when's media day, Gianni?
Monday.
Next week.
Monday.
I think for
It'll
both
happen
teams
this
it's Monday.
week. The phone call to Miami will happen this week.
I gotta be honest with you.
They know exactly what Miami can offer, and that's what they're trying to beat. Can they do better than whatever it is? 2 first-round picks, some pick swaps, Jovic, Jaquez, Hero, whatever combination of salary filler you want.
Martin.
Like, can they actually do better than that?
Martin, and then I think everything would also be taking back Nurkic.
Who cares? You take back whatever. It's exactly what Alf said. You do whatever it takes to make that deal. And I refuse to believe that the Heat aren't honestly going to do that, knowing the relationship that Bam has with Dame. Bam, who is the person, honestly, long-term you need to be more worried about than Jimmy. But you also need to balance that with maximizing Jimmy's window. He is literally a player that fits every fucking hole that this team has.
See, but
so you really think
not
that you're going to offer
forward.
everything?
Not power forward.
Alex in chat is saying what you're saying, Christian. He goes, "No way you take back Nurkic if that's what the Raptors are offering." Like, Alex is right. You don't.
No, that's why you get Phoenix involved. Phoenix wants Nurk. Apparently, they think.
So I heard they don't want Nurk. I just heard they don't want Ayton, is what I heard. I talked to a Phoenix person.
They'll get rid of. They'll do anything to get rid of.
I mean, dude, man, Gianni, that just speaks to the amount of bullshit that's going around. Then, because
I've heard that there
I don't
might
know his
be
full name, but the Suns beat reporter Gambo, whatever his full name is, like he has consistently been one of the best reporters in terms of when he puts stuff out there that's speculative. That dude is right way more than he's wrong, and yet he's looking real bad right now with that take that deal was going to be done a few days ago, because somebody is lying to a lot of people,
especially
right now.
if
that's
everyone's
just propagating through the media.
Especially if they're saying that Portland's not talking to Miami, because that, you know, how could you orchestrate a 3-team deal? So for Phoenix, it makes sense in the way that if they just need Ayton, if they just want Ayton out of their door, they bring in Nurkic and they get Caleb and rotation players. That makes sense to them, right? Because then I think Nasir Little has to kind of make money work. So, you know, like Nasir Little and Caleb and Nurkic, right? You're like, okay, well, we got some rotation guys. The Caleb fits very, very nicely over there. That makes sense, right? And then that was the construction that we talked about last time with Indiana and everything. But Chris is right. It's everybody's posturing. No one's being honest. And Riley's just kind of holding strong. He's holding center, and he's like, listen, look what Masai's not even offering you Anunoby. And I actually think that the Raptors are the only that I feel that stuff's real. That's not smokescreen. Like, that team is legitimately trying to get him, even if they're lowballing. And that's the team that you have to beat. And ultimately, you can't beat their best offer, but their best offer is insane because you don't trade 22 for 33 in this league. You don't.
No, not unless you feel like it makes you a contender immediately.
Exactly.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, if they're delusional, and I mean, we started off the podcast talking about like how funny it would be if they traded Scotty Barnes for Damian Lillard. I'd laugh, a hearty laugh, a belly laugh, if you will. Like, it's the funniest thing in the world. They think they're a contender by adding Dame, and they're also getting rid of Scotty Barnes. Like, it's just, to me, I like, how is it that much better than last year? And people are like, it's significantly better. Is it? Is it really significantly better? When, like, you know, I know Fred VanVleet wasn't good last year, but you lose Fred VanVleet, you replace him with Damian Lillard. Huge upgrade. But then you lose Scotty Barnes and you replace him with who?
Gary
Who are you replacing?
No, Gary Trent. Gary Trent has to go for salary.
Gary Trent's got to go.
You lose him too. Like, you lose your backcourt. You lose Scotty. You have OG, Pascal, and Pirtle, and a rookie coach. You got Schroeder. You got 6 guys you can count on.
Schroeder, but he's a world MVP.
Franky. He is literally the world MVP.
He's literally the MVP of the world. He's the best basketball
he
player in the world.
He is. That's why they're so adamant about trading for Damian Lillard.
I hate that fucking runner so much, bro. I hate his stupid face. Fuck that guy. What's his name?
I'm glad he has that little highlight shit is gone now,
bro.
To me,
Nobody cares about
teams,
sprinting, bro. Everybody only cares about Usain Bolt. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about anything that you.
Johnny, leave the sprinter alone.
I fucking hate that guy, bro. Fuck that guy. What a
well,
loser.
to me, the only two teams that Dame makes a lot of sense for are the 76ers and the Heat, right? Because they have two guys like the fact that. But the fact that you wouldn't give up Maxey for Damian Lillard is hilarious to me. Like Maxey being off the table is it's like, okay, like really,
dude.
Like honestly, I'm like, if it was Maxey or Scotty Barnes, who would you pick? Scotty, right? So like, if Toronto's entertaining it to be a 4 seed, why wouldn't Philly entertain it to probably be the best team in the East?
Well, don't they also already have a ton of money on the books? Isn't Maxey valuable because his contract is super cheap?
Yes. Well, he's due for an extension. And
wouldn't it have to be like Maxey and Tobias or something? I mean,
I don't buy Philly. I don't buy Philly at all.
I don't think they're going to do it. They're not.
And
even
did you
in the
see that
conversation.
the Celtics are like the bet online favorite right now, which is like, what the fuck?
I bet they're the betting favorite for every player because God knows how much of that betting market is run by Celtics fans.
No, that you know what's funny? In a group chat that information like that, somebody's like, why are the Celtics the betting favorite? Somebody's like, bro, because Celtic fans are fucking crazy and they probably just put a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. Or Vegas knows something that we profoundly do not know.
I mean, I just want to bring up one last thing because I mean, I totally, we're looking at this purely from like a basketball standpoint, like a transactional standpoint, and I think that's fair. You want to make sure that on paper, like a trade makes sense, but like I feel like we shouldn't just ignore the fact that Portland has an interest in, I don't know, maintaining some semblance of goodwill with their franchise GOAT. And I'm just like if you have comparable deals, but you have one deal that's actually going to make Dame, I don't know, come back and support the franchise in the future and talk good to young players about the franchise and the city. Don't you think that it has like, I don't know, a smidge of fucking value?
But it doesn't seem like it does, right? That's the weird thing. It really weirdly seems like they are willing to completely torpedo that relationship. And if so, fucking hilarious. That's funny.
He's a generational hater. We're working with somebody, a Hall of Fame hater. This is not a normal guy, bro. He's like me. I know it when I see it. I'm a hater. I was born hating. I look at Joe Cronin and what's looking back at me is my own face. It's a mirror. That guy he'll torpedo everything in the name of hate. Riley doesn't stand a chance.
I wish it was you, Kyle Lowry. You would have to give us picks to get Kyle Lowry.
Oh, dude, yeah. I straight up, I just can't and I think the PR of it for him, I just can't imagine after everything that they take a Miami deal without a third team. I think the only way this gets done for the Heat.
I don't think that was ever going to happen in the first place.
It needs a third team, yeah.
Like how many times they have motherfucker got to tell you they don't want Tyler Hero for you to be like, okay. Fine.
Like, I guess.
Fine. You don't have to have it was always going to take flipping the Hero to a third team, but that takes coordination and that takes communication. That takes two parties willing to get a deal done. And right now, so far, it just doesn't seem like that's what's happening.
It's insane, man. The stuff that's coming out of every side of this is grating. It's nauseating. And I don't know how Ethan's been doing it for 90.
Wait a minute. Hold on a quick second. It looks like Alex was trying to share a link in chat, and the moderator basically disallowed him.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to. We have it, so you're not allowed to share.
I want to know what link Alex is trying to share.
He's trying to share porn as always.
Let's see.
Drop naughty troppy baby.
This is a dick pic, Alex. This is fucking. I didn't need to see that. Oh God, it's fucking gross.
Well, yeah, haven't you heard that Portland wants OG dick?
Is that yours,
picks?
Alex? That's crazy, bro.
The weird thing is, you would think
about fighting Dame. There's going to be a new ownership. Cronin's probably not going to be there, so it's not going to matter to them at the end of the day. Like, Cronin's going to be gone likely as soon as the new owner comes in, hires a president of operations. They're going to want their own people. So Cronin's just doing his job, trying to save face and make good around the league, like trying to dunk on Miami, not give in. Because the way he's managed this whole thing has not made sense. He got the pick he wanted. He asked Dame to sit so he can tank. Got the pick he wanted. Got Scoot, and then just thought Dame was gonna go back on his word, which Dame has not gone back on his word unless he's been crossed. He got crossed, and he waited till after the draft to meet with Dame and say, "Oh, let's talk in free agency. We still got free agency." Free agency day one hits, nothing happens, no trades, nothing happens. And Cronin is surprised that Dame asked out. After Dame was saying, I don't want to play with rookies, I don't want to play with young guys, I don't want to play with teenagers. So I don't understand what Cronin's done. There's no logic behind it. It doesn't make any sense at all.
He would have thought from the very beginning, he would have got in a room with Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg and said, guys, help me get the best out of this deal I possibly can. And I feel like if it wasn't contentious, if they weren't fighting through the media, like he could have got a haul of picks, right? Like he could have got everything Miami had. They could have flipped Hero for one or two more picks. Whatever they had to do.
He wanted.
Yeah, they would have drafted whoever they wanted at that position. Like this could have been really. I feel like it could have been really good for Portland. It could have been a really good PR move. They got Dame to where he wanted, and they could have got a haul for it. So, but now, if let's say they do go with a crappy Toronto deal, what have you gained? You've gained a bad deal when you could have had a lot more, and you've pissed off the franchise, the greatest player in franchise history, right? And you know what's funny? It's like there's no fan base probably that understands what's happening now more than Miami does, right? Because we saw it happen with Dwayne Wade. And the thing is, one thing, at least Dwayne got to go where he wanted to. If Riley had screwed Dwayne and sent him off to Siberia, right? Would that reunion ever have happened?
No.
It would have been there would never have been a last dance. All right. And we know how important that last dance was for the franchise. We know how important Dwayne was in recruiting Jimmy. Like it rehabilitated the franchise's image. So we know how bad it can be, right? And we're watching Portland make the same mistake, but absolutely worse. And it could have been so much easier.
Let me ask you this, and we'll get out of here. Christian, let's say Dame ends up in Toronto, then what? Is he just going to ask for another trade? Is he just going to just suck it up and hoop? Like, how does that work from his point of view too? Because like you've done all this. Now you're on a team that I think all of us agree with probably can't contend, especially if I just can't imagine a world where they get that done with that Anunoby. So you're on a team that can't really contend. Your depth is zapped. Do you just fucking ride it out? I think they'll be better than Portland, but I think Portland East is a little funny, but I don't think they'll be good enough. And by the way, Siakam has a deadline on his contract. Like his contract's about to expire. Is he gonna want to sign long term if Lillard is like, I don't want to be here, bro?
I mean, I think it's real funny that now people are kind of trying to twist the narrative that, oh, he's not actually loyal. He's not a man of his word.
Crazy.
After everything we've watched him do.
He was a meme for being loyal.
100%. And, and it's been widely reported that Portland convinced him to sign an extension, which also, by the way, I love when people are like, oh, he chose the money over, personal freedom. You're a moron.
Love of the fame.
Like, he was getting that money wherever the fuck he went.
He's Dame Lillard,
he had
bro.
A relationship with them. He was loyal to them, and they told him that they were going to build a team and try to compete around him. And one of the things that he made clear is that you better use that pick to get a real player. And then after telling him and his agent that they were talking to teams, his agent called up those teams, and they found out that that was all bullshit. And then he changed his tune like that, went to the media, said, I want to go to Miami and nowhere else, and he hasn't changed his stance once. And now he's gone as far to threaten that if you trade me somewhere else, I'm going to ask for another trade. So honestly, I still think that Dame is a man of his word. And if he does get traded to Toronto, I think he's going to walk right in there. He's going to shake their hands and he'd be like, I'd like a trade to Miami. Thank you.
The Gogi. Frankie, you agree with Chris?
Absolutely. The whole fucking extension shit bothers me. Do we not remember Blake Griffin signing for the Supermax with Clippers and then banishing him the next season in Detroit without his consent, without his word? That was their franchise savior too. Do you remember the Clippers? They were the fucking running joke of the league for years, for decades. And Griffin, they still kind of are, but Blake Griffin took them to places they had never seen before. And
the second round.
They rewarded him the very next season. December 15th passed, and they shipped him on his way. This is why we've all said, always take the money, take the money.
When we all know when guys sign extensions, that don't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Like, oh, he signed an extension. He's not going to go anywhere for 4 more years. Stop. Like, how many times has Chris Paul been traded on his Supermax? Russell Westbrook, John Wall, like this whole idea of like you sign an extension, you're not going anywhere. It's some contract for life, and like the like Christian said, morons, the losers, the idiots on Twitter or anywhere else on social media. Oh, doesn't the contract mean anything? Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You know how many times I signed a fucking contract and didn't fucking adhere to it? I don't give a fuck. And I'm not even that valuable. Like, stop. Like, the way people look at this stuff, and you know what? It's through this prism of like, my job sucks, my life sucks. Like, I would have to abide by a contract, so he has to abide by a contract. Like, get out of here. That's not the way it works for people who are important. If you're not important, just shut the fuck up and stay out of grown folks' business.
Alex has $100 million to his name, and you think he's going to do something he doesn't want to do?
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Troppy Baby in chat says something great. Is agreeing with you, Christian. They promised to build around him and ended up trading away McCollum, Hart, Payton, and Covington, and Powell, and didn't trade for a star with the picks that they owned. At that point, you throw your hands up.
Somebody, Wham Bam in the chat says, I think a Raptors reporter says, the Raptors' interest in Damian Lillard is real, but said to be a bit overstated. They've rolled the dice on a disgruntled star before. If they're going to do it again, the risk will need to be baked into the price. Again, another crazy development.
Oh, what a crazy development.
And that's why I think that Masai is lowballing them with these offers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's not giving up. He's not giving up Scotty. So it's the point
I think the Anunoby thing, and Anunoby he's gonna be up for an extension. His contract expires at the end of this season. So you know,
he's got a player option, I think, but yeah,
he's gonna opt out. Yeah, and that's the thing with the Raptors. And I've talked to our friend Iman about this. Like, the Raptors need to do something to like keep Pascal and Anunoby there. So I can understand their aggression, quote unquote. So I think they're the team to beat. You know, we have a couple days till Monday. We have a week till Monday. Today's Monday. So next week would be media day. I'm assuming that things will materialize. We will hear more as the week progresses. And if there's a deal.
Can I say one last thing?
Of course.
The Raptors fans, get some fucking pride about yourself. Like, have an ounce of fucking shame. Like, could you imagine somebody like, I don't want to play for Miami. I don't want to play in Miami. I don't like the city of Miami. I don't want to play for the Heat. I want to go play for the Celtics. And then we find out that we're going to try to trade Tyler here. Let's say it's Tyler Hero, our best young asset, and draft picks for him. And we sit there like, yeah, go ahead. What the fuck? Like, have some pride, goddammit. Like, you're yearning, you're going after a guy who doesn't even want to. Like, listen, I'm not talking about the front office. I'm talking about the fans who are a fan of this deal, right? Like, the guy doesn't even fucking like you, bro. Like, come on. Like, just like, at least be like, at least feign, a little bit of fucking self-worth.
They're like my stalker.
Here, oh, yeah. You're out here peeking in the window, motherfucker who told you go away. Like, he told you I don't like you. And you're like, but what about if we give you Scotty? Like, it's disgusting behavior with a U.
You got a contract. You've got to come here. You got to play ball.
He has to play here. You sound so pathetic.
Is that true?
God, like, I know nobody really likes nobody respects that title you won, right? And it eats at you a little bit. No, nobody really respects it. Kevin Durant's leg was falling off. Fucking
a win's a win.
Clay had one arm.
We
Nobody
count
respects that
we
type.
count the
But it
Laker
was a
and Nuggets
legit
title.
title.
That's all I'm saying. You know, there were
Like,
stars.
you guys should have a little bit more respect for yourselves.
Seeing
all
the
I'm
same
saying.
Raptors fans that were talking about the fucking quarter disparity in the finals.
Oh, they won every quarter that KD wasn't in.
And then they use Giannis in injury when Giannis played like 2 full games more than KD did. Is fucking hypocrisy to the fullest.
I mean,
By the way,
we don't got to discredit. We don't got to discredit
the-
2019. I mean, it's just
when the Kevin Durant offseason was happening, you would have sworn Scotty Barnes was the next coming of Wilt fucking Chamberlain.
They didn't offer
with the
Scotty
way
for
that they
Durant.
spoke about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the way the Raptors fans talked about Scotty and continue to talk about Scotty until some of the varnish wore off on that motherfucker a little bit. But like, you would swear he was the next coming of Charles Barkley. He was going to be the greatest power forward of all time. Tim Duncan, watch out. And now it's like, give him up for an aging point guard that doesn't even make you a contender. Have some respect for yourselves. Aggregate that.
The same fucking stat line as first year Scotty.
Frankie, Bronx Joker asked, was that a Moose impression?
No, that's a Canadian fucking all these guys on Twitter, on Raptors Twitter. Raptors Twitter is so annoying.
I love Rat. Listen, some of them are annoying.
The Precious versus Bam takes. Oh
Those
my
are
God.
bad. Those are bad.
Precious-
Those are bad.
I'm gonna spend
Yeah, the only guy
weeks.
who's making like
That was cold.
I'm gonna
Bam.
spend weeks retweeting those Raptors tweets that keep saying that the Heat have nothing to give, and that's why nobody wants their stuff.
I have all
I'm
the
gonna
Portland
be on
ones
their asses
bookmarked.
for weeks.
I got the Portland
Oh,
ones
do you guys
bookmarked.
remember the Precious is better than Bam stuff? Like,
Oh my
Oh.
Unfortunately, I do. That was cope though.
this.
That was nasty cope.
Listen, people in the chat mad at me. I'm not discounting 2019. I'm saying everybody else who likes basketball does, except for me.
I think we got to discount
I
20.
respect your
2020
title,
is the
despite
one that we got to discount because
all the injuries.
Go
I
get Bam.
respect that title. It's
every title has an asterisk.
really
Why-
hard to beat Steph and the ghost of Andre Iguodala. Like, you did that.
Want to give
Gianni, where do you think Dame Lillard ends up?
could go either way. I actually think this ends up with him in Toronto because I think Joe Cronin's a hater. I think if they offer Anunoby, they get it done, and if they don't haggle, pick protections.
Hold on. One of those same articles today that said Toronto was like really in the lead also said Orlando was looking into this. So that's where I'm like, got to take some of this with a grain of salt, right?
I will say something. I've at least talked to people about the Raptors stuff. Orlando, fuck out of here, bro. No one cares about you, Orlando.
Is it crack?
Frankie,
Where do you think
ends
Dame
up?
ends up?
Miami.
Alf.
Alf, where do you think he ends up?
Orlando.
Want to give a couple quick
honestly,
shout
I don't.
outs?
I think.
Go ahead.
I think he starts the season in Portland. I do.
That's crazy.
And then I think things start to get weird.
He's not
and then
James
I
Harden,
think
though.
I'm gonna be screaming at Heat fans all year long when we're trying to win games 94-93.
Josh Richardson's going to step out of bounds.
I was gonna dude. If we have Josh Richardson back, and this is just gonna be like the season where some people didn't want to trade Jay Rich for Jimmy Butler, and Alf was
That was
literally
me
losing
and
his
Brian,
mind.
bro. People don't remember that Brian and I once proposed Bam and 2 picks for Beal.
So listen, the first 2
Don't
weeks of
remember.
DMP CDs for Jovic are gonna be hell
Oh, bro.
on Heat Twitter
that
if we don't get
timeline-
Dame.
No,
Okay?
don't do that. We both know that's not happening.
Do we?
He's gonna be starting.
Yeah, and Yurt was gonna start with Bam. Okay, I don't want to hear it. Like, we love fucking big Europeans in the summertime. Like,
That's a new thing.
Let me see it.
He'd hated big Europeans before.
No, I'm saying fan base.
I
The
love
fan
it.
base does. I just want let me see someone do it in an NBA game before you got me.
He did
saying,
the
well, we don't
World
need
Cup,
Dame.
Alf.
Jovic, who
The-
needs Dame? Jovic gained 20 pounds.
The
Of course,
World
he's
Cup.
fucking 19 years old.
World greater than NBA.
There was that fan that said Yurt outplayed Joel, and because Yurt had like 20 and 10, but that Joel had 30 and 20.
It's funny.
Keep slandering Yurt. He's gonna show you guys what's up in Utah.
Where?
Right.
You,
That's right, in Utah, Alf. That's right.
Yeah.
You don't even know where he is.
The Turkish go back.
No, and nobody cares, and no one will ever hear from him again.
I miss Olynyk. Quick shout out to the Let's Just Agenda for a tier 1 sub.
He's in the land of Jarnell Stokes.
Stokes for Stokes,
Mason,
baby.
the fuck.
Let's Just Agenda will not be defeated by Dame Lillard. He says.
Let's Just Agenda is asking you to show your chest hair, G.
He keeps doing that. I don't know. What's this? Nothing's happened yet. Heat Nation West Palm Beach, you subscribe for 1 month at tier 1. Says they're gonna miss hot, but I'll always be here for whatever content you guys put out because I love you guys and this is a community. Much love to that. Alf looks dead inside every time hot's mentioned. Bronx Joker resubscribed. Said fuck Cronin. Very efficient.
Let me tell you. If people like you, we want hangover time to come back. Yeah, sure. The Heat are scoring 79 points a game. Fuck, I dare me to fucking come back and do hangover time. It's going to be an hour of drunk Alf, just no other panelists.
Brass just doesn't show up.
Oh my God, Pat, don't trade for Dame.
Brass sends his son to produce because he doesn't want to be a part of it.
What I'm just going to do is I'm going to record the Raptor game where Dame is dropping 50 and just play it on a fucking loop.
But Dame drops 50 in a loss, which is the funniest outcome.
12 on 4 for 8 tonight. Oh, fucking who cares?
Dame scores 84 in a loss to the Pistons.
I'd rather do a hangover time after that.
That'd be fucking funny. And shout out to Elites XBL for the 30-month. That's 30 months of subscribing to EP. We love you guys. So we will we'll keep you updated on the situation. If he gets moved or if some news breaks, we will come to you with a pod. If not, see you Monday for Media Day and whatever the fuck happens there, because that will be one way or another. That's going to be interesting. So we'll see y'all then. Follow us all on Twitter, and it's good to be back. Year 11.